Okay, I've got a couple of questions with regards to coachings. I want to complete my ACC certification, and
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's getting a little challenging with regards to, completing that 100 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just started. I've just about 5 hours in with my coaching. I do not know as to how do I get more people on board. What would be the best way forward for me, to get closer to those 100 hours?
So easy aspect is your first the cohort that you are part of. I think that's one.
Okay.
So assuming that you're not full time jumping into coaching, you have say different segments of the day where you are open. So maybe creating a calendar or a calendly would be
Okay.
helping saying, okay, when are you available? And there are a few peer coaching groups that are there. So even with the tribe of coaches, you can uh, join some of the groups and post your calendar saying, hey, I'm available at this point of time. And that's how you get your first few spaces, even within your own cohort, right?
Okay.
Knowing that you have your ACC roots with Navgati, there are two more groups. One is your cohort
Yeah.
group, and then there's the coaches collective peers, which is where you can get your additional Navgati based coaches. And then slowly
Okay.
also move on to say coaching journeys is there. There are about 600 people. There's a Facebook page where you can post. Again, there are quite a lot of coaches.
Okay.
You can also post in the tribe coaches space. So these are ready spaces where peer coaching is available. So maybe around your 20 hours to 25 hours is a good time to until then to settle into peer coaching. So you understand how do you build a contract, what is that you do with regards to the evoking awareness part, what is the kind of questions that you ask, and also what is the space in which you close the session. So all that becomes a lot more easier when you're working with a peer. And so maybe around
Mm.
25 hours is a good timeline to do it with the first circle itself and the first plus plus. So once you're
Mm.
getting a little more confidence, go to other groups and also keep sharing both in terms of your WhatsApp could be a great use. So just create a poster. Now Canva and GPT are very easy to help. So create a
Mm.
poster where you can talk about, hey, this is my background. I'm learning as a coach, and I'm looking for people who would be interested in coaching. And so when somebody reaches out, you can always continue the coaching conversation. That is one.
Mm.
The
Mm.
other aspect is once you get to a place where you're confident, ask internally in your own organization, can you be an internal coach? But again, very
Mm.
clearly, do not coach your superiors or your people who are working with you or working under you. So from another team is always a preferred segment to say yes, you can coach internally, and therefore you can get your hours. So 5 hours. So even if you're looking at 100 hours, 5 hours per client is already giving you. Say you need around 20 people to help you get your hours,
Mm. Mm.
and
Mm.
then it's purely mathematics to say, okay, can I like when you keep it like that, can I get 20 people giving 5 hours is not going to be that heavy a challenge. And therefore, you can ask
Correct.
even within the peer network, there are other coaches who are working with you. Then also, say, coaches from different groups, your friends who are not your first circle. First circles don't jump into coaching at the first circle. But
Mm.
then
Mm.
the secondary circles, your cousins or somebody else from your previous organization, current organization, your
Mm. Mm.
friends, cousins, relatives, they all fall under the category of what is your first, say, 30, 40 hours of coaching outside of your peers. So these are
Correct.
some of the easy methods to get your coaching hours in. So all peer coaching is considered as paid. As in, you
Mm.
coach me and I coach you. For me, 1 hour paid, and for you, 1 hour paid. So 2 hours counts as 1 hour. So you end up spending 2 hours. So, but initially, my preference for a young coach would be to start off with peers, first with your own
Mm.
cohort, then in the same. coach organization, and then slowly move outside and then expand your network through different coaches. And internal also you can definitely work. LinkedIn also you can put out a message saying, "Hey, I'm wanting to experience the coaching, and I am a coach learner. This is my calendar." And you can also put saying, "Pay as you like," or have that conversation once they come into the equation. And the payment can be
Mm.
in terms of a coffee, in terms of a book, in terms of a like anything like a pen. So any barter exchange is considered as a paid segment.
Mm.
So that can work. And yeah, so once this is done, your 100 hours are not going to be difficult. Maybe by around 50 hours, once you complete that and you have had also peers and non-peers hours, get to your mentoring. 40 to 50 hours, get to your mentoring. And
Mm.
now, if you've done it very recently, a mentoring is already packaged as part of the coach training
Program.
organization itself.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and I'm assuming Piyush will do it for you.
Yes. Yes.
So that's it. So easiest way to get your 100 hours is this.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Um, I have a follow-up question also, but if anyone else has to go, I'll go after them. Is it okay?
Ah, good, good.
Mm. This I don't know. There's some sort of nervousness when you start off with your coaching, because I've already started off with when peers also. So the constant some sort of fear is there. Am I getting the questions right? Am I asking them right? And sometimes there's a roadblock also because I don't know what next to ask. So
Mm.
all this is just stopping me from saying that. I mean, somewhere it's like I need to get it right. So anything on that, Sunil?
So, a little bit of moment marketing. So we did ask, like with the other session the yesterday was how do you know you're a good coach? And I think you were there. And then previous to that was also what's the right kind of questions that you're asking for the client? So
I was that.
usually you understand that there are no right questions. It's just about the more, alive question at that point. And maybe to answer it in a way that feels most alive for a younger coach is to go out there and I think fail as many times as you can, and that's the advantage of being in a peer coaching environment. You get that safety of failure. You get to work with experimenting, knowing what works, what doesn't, and I think definite invitation to join the session where I am coaching as a live coaching, someone else is doing a live mentoring. So you will be able to know, okay, that there are other coaches who are also doing it in this way, and this way also is something that you can integrate. So that's how I'd say you can definitely increase your learning radar on that one.
Mm,
Other than
mm,
that, it's part of the process to feel very nervous, feel saying, "Hey, am I getting the right questions? What to ask, what not to ask? Is there a script to ask a certain kind of question?" What you will learn is that you will learn on the go, and that's where peer
mm,
coaching helps outside of your cohort, because your cohort has also
mm,
learned as much as you, and maybe here and there plus or
mm,
minus 5%, 10%. But
mm,
outside your peers, if you're going to other coach training organizations, there's a slight change in methodology, and that
mm,
would really be a really helpful space. There are
mm,
again YouTube lives of other MCCs, but I'd say, yeah, hold your horses with that, at least initially. But then you can get to that. It should not be an issue for that. So constant reiteration, learning, absorption, I think that will help. And very slowly and very quickly in the same thread, you will get to a point where you start getting more confident. Or what
mm,
question after this? How do I know a good contract? So easier part is like do the sessions with a focus saying, hey, this session for say 5 hours, my focus is only on getting my contract right. Say the next
mm,
5 hours, contract is done. So I will get contract right plus something else after that. So G, R,
Understood.
O, and W. So even if you're looking at
Mm,
5 hours each, by the time you reach 25 hours in your case, you would have
mm,
had a
mm.
very clean understanding of each part of the grow model.
Understood.
So
Yeah.
the
Then it'll
rest
be
is
like,
okay. Just concentrate is
mm,
fine. But otherwise, it's a easier flow with that.
mm, mm.
You were
Because
sharing
sometimes
something.
what I do is, I try to, get everything parts of grow right. So, and my brain is like overthinking. Okay, do this. But I think this concept is nice. First 5 hours, just go there, practice G, then, go progress that way. I think that will be a good breaker. I mean, it'll be good for me to articulate, to absorb, as you said.
Absolutely. And um, also because if you are on this regular with the type of coaches, you will get a lot of opportunities to learn from other coaches in terms of the live sessions that we do. And also, any
Mhm.
conversation where I think maybe I can also share a few of mine that I've done previously. So you will be able to
Mm,
know what is the right kind of alignment to the aspect of asking questions.
mm,
So not rushing, then silence. So all that basically gets integrated into your this thing. But this is like the first few hours and days and weeks in driving. So you will have to go through with that.
mm, mm. Thanks,
So
Sunil. This will help.
no worries at all. No worries at all. And feel free if there are other questions because while answering yours, there could be other people whose questions also we are able to answer. So no worries there. And anyone else would be interested in asking a question? Eva, you wanna go in? I see Eva unmuted.
Okay. Could I ask, like, I joined the community because I like all this is exactly what I also need, what I'm dealing with. I'd like to ask, do we need contracts for peer coaching? I think that yes, that we do, but so far it was with the people from our organization through the organization, so we were bound by the contracts already signed. But when I find someone for peer coaching from our group, the link you shared, I should have a contract with the people, at least some simplified one, but we should have a contract. Or is it not necessary?
Culturally, it depends. So, from an ICF point of view, it's better to have a contract. And see, also one of the other things, Eva, is I'd say get to a contract once you've had the first conversation with the person. So have the first conversation. Like this could be with anywhere else when you're going to peer coaching, not just with the tribe. And once you've had the first conversation, then you know, okay, whether this person on the other side is something that's suitable for you to work with. So you have that conversation and whether it aligns, whether it clicks. Um, and then that's your first learning as such as a coach as well. That not everybody becomes a coach or a client that you would like to work with. And even though the person on the other side is what we call as a peer coach, that when they are your clients, they are your clients. So you'll have to treat that conversation with them as much like a client conversation as anything else. So it's better to have a contract. But then in India, in the spaces that I have worked with, mostly it's been a verbal contract. Right? We've exchanged a WhatsApp message or sometimes sent an email, but nothing in terms of a strong PDF or something that you sign and send on both sides. But when we do internationally as well, it's somehow like over a period of time and understanding that we have a conversation, we meet and we say, look, around 5 hours of peer coaching is there. So 5 plus 5 is what I can vouch for, and then after 5, let us see. So that's why I use the first conversation to understand whether this person is somebody who I'd like to work with. I've realized that I don't want to jump into peer coaching and then realize, oh, I've said 5. I don't want to groan and come into the session and say, oh no, why have I chosen this person as a coach? I don't want to do that. And the other coach also should feel the same way, saying, I'm excited to get coached with Sunil and coach Sunil as the same in the same place. So you have that reading with the person first, and if you feel that that's a good one, and you have no other further questions with that side, then draw a general contract and then put an email space where and say yes, you can do that. So that way it's agreed upon by both sides, like so many number of hours. But what it also helps if you're also doing it with peer coaching is eventually when you enter into the aspect of working with a paid client outside of your peers, then this is something that you've built as a practice. So that way it becomes far more a discipline aspect in terms of your coaching and that space than anything else. And most of the times, because my clients are people that I already know of, to a large extent, the contract is verbal, and sometimes we exchange it over an email so that both of us are clear as to what it is. But then the discussions around what is coaching, what is not coaching, how everything is there is already explained either in the zeroth session or the first session. So that way, it is very clearly understood for them that they are entering into coaching and not mentoring and not consulting. And the explanation is done very clearly in the session that follows. But I would say it's better that you follow a contract. And ICF website also gives you a, sample contract that you can use. So with that, you can able to sort of modify how many sessions, how much is the payment, what is the cancellation fee, if at all there is any, what is the whole idea of establishing or reconnecting, what happens if there is a midway change. So all that is put into the contract, and therefore you make it as easy and as complete as it is for somebody who's coming in. And once you start with your coaching, the rest becomes easy.
So for peer coaching, then good middle ground would be to just exchange it as an email so that there is some written record that we, I don't know, agreed that it might be recorded, because I will also need to produce,
Yeah.
I need to still submit my recordings. I need to submit 3 recordings. So do we have any policies about that in the community? Is it okay if we agree in an email that it is okay to record it, then it is set at the beginning of the session?
From a community's point of view, we leave it to the coaches in terms of how the format at which they agree. But then the understanding is that you have somewhere a conversation with both of you, and for you it helps to also put it back to your log in case somebody asks for it, saying was that was consent taken with both of you in the same alignment. So it helps to have that uh, documentation as such, right? So, and if you were to ask me if I do one thing differently from what I've learned, is to make sure that every person that I work with, I have this contract, and all I'm doing is just sharing it, and then they sign and they come back. So it makes it like very crystal clear, and you store it at one place in your own play space. And okay, these are all contracts, not necessarily what happened in the session, but general contract. Who was it? What was that? So that makes it easier. Uh, but inside the tribe of coaches, we do not really have a general set of saying, "Hey, this is what you need to do." Some of them come from all sort on all different cultures, so we do not have a general formula as such. But then you're free to ask for, say, a written contract or for how many hours and stuff like that. So very open.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And I think also if you're doing it with like I am currently working with a German coach, and she's a uh, she sent me over a document according to GPDR or GDPR or whatever they call it, data protection, GDPR. So for her, it is a mandate to include certain other things as well, because from a country and the way it is done in that particular country, it is in a certain way and a certain segment. So it has to be followed, and that depends again country to country. So that would you'll have to adhere to that as well. In case the data is stored somewhere, what is the server and XYZ, so all that is something that you put. So the sample document is anyways part of the ICF website. You can download it and then modify it according to your needs and share it. Anything else? Eva, Savita, Leona, Govind.
I have one more question, Sunil.
Mhm.
So sometimes, I see that when we do peer coaching, that they send an email out, as to how was the session, right? So is that
Mhm.
a good practice to kind of do? Because it takes a lot for us also to document out and send out an email. So what are your thoughts like to do?
Mhm. Can you give I didn't
Like for
understand. Can you give
example,
like a sequence?
yeah,
Yeah.
like for example, I was part of this, coaching thing where after the session, they just sent me a brief summary saying that, hey, these are the couple of discussion points, these are the kind of way forward, and they sent me an very brief email on the summary of what was discussed. So,
Mhm.
is that a good practice which we should do, or how is it?
It it depends, right? It's if that is a practice that you as a coach follow, then it's up to you.
Okay.
But again, the whole aspect of confidentiality becomes a question in terms of okay,
Hmm.
who has access to the email, the whole aspect of trust and safety. Was that AI that helped you generate this? Where is that AI taking that data? Is that allowed in the session? There's so many other complications come in, and if the coach is looking at what I said I will do versus what is the overall points. uh, Again, the question mark is was the client or was the coach present with you or somebody else? Right.
Okay.
So the whole aspect of presence is lost. Right. So that is one. Then some clients may like it, some may not.
Hmm.
And it's a double-edged sword, but it is not a mandate to do something like that.
Hmm.
Some coaches may do that, saying it's a better deal to send an email saying the session happened. This was your XYZ
Okay.
number of session with me. Number one, number two, number three, four, whatever. And yeah, if you would want to look at it, these are two or three reflective questions saying what worked well for you, what would you like to stay accountable for, and what resources would you have. And that's it. So that's shared with the coachee or the client at that point of time. And if they want to answer that, if they choose to answer it in that format, yes. Because
Okay.
if you had to ask me if you had sent that, I'd be like, okay, I already know what I said. I don't want a
Hmm.
secondary
Hmm.
level of sharing about that. But then it's again a personal preference. So because you don't know
Hmm.
personal preference of people, it's not a mandate. You can ask the coachee at the beginning, and if this is part of your contract, then
Okay.
that's part of your contract. But not necessary because I also worked with a third party space, and at that space, it was you send a document back to the coachee to say
Hmm.
what were their reflections, and the coachee reflects and just keeps it with them. You have a document that you send it to the sponsor. What was the overarching topic of the conversation? And then any observations I had as a coach in terms of okay, did they understand the topic that was
Hmm.
shared with that? Were they clear? Were they had any difficulties in communicating what they were feeling and all that? So it was an internal document for us and did not reveal what happened in the session. It was
In
okay,
the session. Okay.
communication. versus empathy versus better planning. So
mm, mm,
just the vague output. And again, there's general practice that is shared across, the space of coaches and the third parties. But
okay.
otherwise, you don't send it to clients as a mandate. So it's a chosen space. If somebody wants to do it, they do it. Asking for
Mm,
feedback and other things also, comes under the aspect of uh, are you doing it in a way that it is like you're pushing them to give you feedback. Um,
mm, mm,
that is one. The gray lines are a little gray at that point. But then you whatever if there is a testimonial that is coming, it is something that you have to ask the client if they're open to give it in a public forum. Or else, what we do, we screenshot it, we cut all indications that nobody knows who that it is, and then share it as an anonymous testimonial on our WhatsApp or say on our LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever.
mm,
So the
mm,
client is not exposed to it. That's something that we say. And if client wants to give it on their own, they can very well give it on any social media. So that's up to the client as such. Uh,
got it.
and maybe if you're doing it with a peer coach, like one of the things you have to be very careful about as young coaches is
Mm,
to always go back to your mentor in your first 30, 40 hours and say, hey, this is what the session was about. How did I do?
mm,
Your peer
mm,
coach is also learning with you.
mm, mm,
Sometimes their comments and their observations may more damage than mentor sharing it. The mentors, like for us, it's bread and butter. So in a way
mm,
that we share the feedback. So we say, this is exactly why we go and say, okay, it's not you that's the problem. It's like in this particular instance, this dialogue or this question that you placed can be faced better. So you go deeper into
mm,
each of
mm,
those aspects. We don't really uh, look at it. And also your peer coaches will give you saying nice session because they're
mm,
not trained to give him mentoring. And it gets difficult when I am the coachee. I'm really bringing a very honest and a deep topic to also be switched on as a coach and say, oh, what was that question all about? So what you can
mm,
ask is, did any of my questions make you uncomfortable? What do you feel was a good question? And these are two questions you can ask your peer after you've done a coaching session with them, vice versa.
mm,
But these could help. But then, how was the session? They can give you a rating. I think if you can make that, that's fine. But I'd say every other session, how was it? What they learned, and maybe documenting it for them. I'd still say we are getting into grayish areas there. Permission
mm,
taken, client is okay. That's part of how you do it. Uh, then fine. But again, in terms of the other nuances, is what happens if client does not want it. Would you switch it off? So all that is part and parcel of how to all the bandwidth of this question.
mm, mm. Got it. Thanks, Sunil.
Yes, most welcome. Just want to check in with Leona. Leona, do you have anything to ask?
Yeah, I want to ask, how does accreditation affect getting clients as a health coach?
Sorry, how does accreditation affect? I
Yeah,
didn't catch
getting
the last
getting
word.
clients as a health and wellness coach.
Huh. All right, all right. Uh, Two different thought processes here. I come from India where not all coaches, there are a lot of self-proclaimed coaches. There's somebody that I know who says I'm a handwriting coach. There's also a parenting coach. There's some echo around. So there's also a parenting coach. There's also somebody who says, I'm a old age home coach, I am a health coach, I am a food coach, I am a cricket coach. So the word in India is slightly changed or has multiple definitions. And here, right now, with a lot of this, a price sensitive market. So, in a price sensitive market, how jazzy your marketing is, how accessible it looks like, and how, the right kind of marketing image reaches the right, different audience. People who have nothing as an ICF credential, who are just proclaiming themselves, saying, I'm that coach, I'm this coach. They do a lot of webinars, they do a lot of these pyramid schemes, and they still make money. They make a lot of money at that. B2B, there's a huge requirement or a huge understanding that they need at least a PCC as a coach. And there again, the leadership, executive, and stuff like that. So that's a different work. In terms of something around, say, relationship coaching, health and wellness coaching, predominantly it is B2C, which is your direct to customer. And there, your reputation, the kind of referrals you come with, the persona that you are, who likes you as an individual and likes the work that you do, how accessible you are, how famous you get to yourself, yourself to be, that matters way more in terms of revenue. That's one side of it. The other side, right now, which is a growing population, is people who are looking at credentials as an aspect of credibility, as an aspect of saying, I'm not going to anybody randomly. I'm going to somebody who knows what needs to be done, as in the aspect of getting somebody into a vulnerable state and also getting somebody out of a vulnerable state. So both are learned, they have been tested, they have been, given that go green that this person has been accredited or certified or holds the credential. So there is overall a market for all such segments. The credibility, if you get into ICF, because ICF is recognized internationally, ICF, EMCC, and a few others, the recognition internationally allows you to expand out of your home country because people are now getting more and more awareness of what ICF is, what EMCC is, and therefore it helps to have a accreditation. And also your confidence as a coach going through the process of becoming a coach, that changes the way you arrive in a coaching call, and therefore you come with better confidence, better preparedness, and understanding of what's happening with the individual on the other side, and that helps you way better internally as an individual, a skill set wise, being a part, getting into the accreditation journey or the whole aspect. For ACC, we have 100 hours, for PCC, we have 500, and for MCC, we have 2,500 hours. So that journey sort of becomes a space of tempering for you as a coach, and in that space you allow yourself to learn, unlearn, relearn many things, and you get better as a human being and get better as a coach as well. And therefore, it helps you in the way you show up confidently, which is what gets perceived from the other side also as confidence, and therefore it becomes easier for somebody to trust you saying, hey, I think I would rather go with a professionally certified coach, not necessarily PCC, but then somebody who's certified from a certifying body, and that helps people to say trust and build on it. So but typically otherwise, even if you're not part of the ICF, you're not part of the MCC, you have a decent LinkedIn game, you have a decent Instagram game, clients continue to come to you based on the needs that you are plugging for them. So therefore, there's market for all kinds of people right now. It depends on what your choices are, what your value systems are, and what amount of skill set that you're ready to refine. So it's a long answer to a very short question, but and for me, it makes it far more complete as an answer.
Yeah, thank you for the answer. But what I want to ask also, does the ICF as an organization promote you as a coach once you become accredited as
No,
an ACC or PCC? They don't.
no, no.
So what kind of
So,
support you get from that membership? From being an
you see,
ICF member?
member is a different aspect, right? So, because I'm an ICF global member, I am able to host a session at the ICW. So that's one. I'm a ICF member as well as a ICF global member. So for me, that is where for me it helps to build my credential as a coach. So I have to do the active work. ICF has a mentor coach registry. As and when you have completed one renewal with your credential or done one of the criteria with regards to how many ever years you are part of coaching, and there's one criteria which I do not exactly remember. So you can pay ICF every year, I think $85 or $100. So you can register yourself as a mentor coach. So that's the directory that you can get yourself there. But ICF typically is like a college. So the college may not offer placement services after you finish getting or you graduate. So here's just a college, go learn and come back. ICF offers the credibility to say, okay, this is the kind of people that will come here. They will ensure that the standards are being looked at when they, give other coach organizations the license to operate and operate as training organizations. So that way, ICF becomes more of a overseer of the standard rather than any opportunity directly that will come. And see here, one of the other things with the ICW is one of those spaces where ICW you can, provided you're a global member, you have that 1 year membership, you can put yourself out there and say offer pro bono sessions during the ICW, get your visibility, and people who like your coaching, who sort of align with who you are, what you're doing. That is one way in which clients can come. And for me, across the ICW, if you look at it, I've met some fantastic people, and through those conversations, plus going through the right kind of networks, the right kind of introductions, I have been able to generate revenue, but nothing directly that promotes you as a coach. If you're an ICF global member, and then you can say yes to also being a part of ICF Lebanon, and be a part of other ICF chapters if that works for you, and therefore you can increase the networking that you can do as an individual. Uh, ICF also provides you a space where you can get your own free website that you can get done from here. I haven't tried it. The friends of mine have also not given me the greatest of feed forward, but then you are free to look at it if that works. Then you get access to ICF Engage, ICF other groups or other segments where you can learn. Um, yeah, so typically ICF chapter meetings, you will have an idea when they're happening. So you get your continuous education units, and also helps you with that space too in your renewal or continuous learning, networking, and all that. So that is the advantage of having a membership. But even with your chapter, the chapter also does not directly put you out there saying, you know what, we have 100 coaches, you can come there. I haven't seen any chapter in my experience so far does that. But then they do have a find your coach option in some of those, websites with the chapter. But again, subject to the marketing, somebody coming to the website, looking for you, and then finding you. So it's a different ballgame that way. So you will have to create your visibility. And that's one of the reasons why I am doing 24 sessions across the ICW. And on an average, I have met about 200 people in this 24 sessions. And whatever happens out of the 24 is up to, the universe as such, and my efforts and the rest of the stuff. So there's nothing that is amplified from the ICF. or nothing that's amplified by the chapters. Yeah, but if you are in a chapter where there is encouragement for you, and then there's also not too many uh, competing segments and no politics in those spaces, the chapter can offer a space where you can come and talk about what you have learned as a coach, what you have, as a specialization that other coaches can learn from. And there, the ICF
And
chapter can give you visibility.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In some of these chapters, I attend some webinars where they, have coaches who, do these webinars or sessions just to, engage within that specific chapter.
So for that, you need to be famous or doing something that's very different from what everybody else is doing. But then it's a good shot at networking. It's a good shot at networking. It's a good shot at building your brand. So basically, if you're using this space to build your brand, then that works beautifully. And uh, one of the things I have always learned and stood by is that you don't know who's listening. So at some point, somebody would be like, "Hey, you know what? One of the simple examples I'll tell you. Prior to the ICF week, I was part of multiple ICF chapter event that was online and allowed me to join. And all I had to do was keep my video on. And when somebody asked, saying, "Hey, do you have anything to share?" I put my hand up and shared whatever was relevant for me at that point, or maybe whatever I'd learned in that session. And after that, I got a few LinkedIn connection requests saying, "Hey, we loved what you shared in the session. We'd love to be connected with you." And that's a very warm lead as such, or a warm connection as such. What happens after that is, subject to fate, as they call it. But then these are small things also that will help you keep noticed, be consistent, and then showing up. So all of this will help you build that brand for sure. And because I don't know too much about you, I may not be able to give you specifics. But then from a very top-down vantage point, these are some of my ideas. Right.
Thank you. So
Most
I understand that being accredited through ICF is something, and branding your own coaching is something else.
Absolutely. You could not have an ICF credential, but if you've got your branding game right, you still get your clients. It may not be usually
Right.
B2B, which is the organization. Again, if you're really good at what you're doing, they could always make an exemption for you. But then the segment is easier if you have the ICF because it opens up both the corporate as well as the individuals. So it offers that advantage. And it also means that you put effort into this space as well. So it's a give and take.
Great. Thank you.
All right. And so did I present the so I don't think I presented the QR code for us for you to join the WhatsApp group. And Leona, what journey are you on? ACC or PCC or this still baby steps with coaching?
I'm not accredited by ICF. I'm accredited through two different bodies. One is in the United States. The other one is the Three Brains Coaching,
Mm-hmm.
which is in Spain. So one is for leadership by charisma and presentation skills, which is based in the United States. And the other one is as I said, the Three Brains Coaching based in Madrid, Spain.
Three brains coaching. So the person I think also does it on. He also posts events on the International Coaching Week. I remember the gut is the third brain, the
Yeah,
same.
Christopher Snyder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct. Yes, so I've been to part of his sessions. I loved some of those sessions.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think. Yeah, the IC is different and this one, his is a different one. So the reason I asked that is if, in terms of the space of coaching, if you're aligned to that, we have a coaching community that you can be a part of if that's something that aligns with you. So that's the whole reason to ask you, otherwise, nothing else.
Yeah, but you have to be ICF accredited, right?
Not accredited, but we are open if you at some point are seeing your peer coaching hours towards that side or your learning is aligned to that. Because what happens internal to the conversations here is typically with regards to ICF core competencies. So that becomes our North Star to see that going. But otherwise, it's an open space if you want to keep that, as long as it aligns somewhere with coaching and not necessarily with mentoring, consulting, therapy as such. So that's the
Mm.
case. Then
So,
this QR is something you can scan,
okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
and the other one is for my LinkedIn. So those two are what
I'm
you can.
connected with you on LinkedIn
Fantastic.
from the past. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay.
I've attended some of your sessions like back in 2023.
Oh, lovely.
It's
That
been,
is
yeah.
that is fantastic. That is fantastic.
Mm. And that's how I got your the email that you're inviting us
Okay,
to
so
these
yeah,
sessions.
so typically that's the no, thank you. You made me smile because I was thinking of okay, it didn't give anything as an output to actually sending it out there after with all those saying, hey, last year or 2 years back or 3 years back you attended one of these. I'm still doing some more. Would you be open to that? I usually get the response saying, take me off your broadcast list. And I don't spam after this event. I only send a message saying, hey, I'm doing something like this. If it aligns, if you want a reminder, let me know. So usually I get a negation response, but I'm glad I did that. And I got to connect with you again. And then we lost you again. Yes, we have 5 more minutes. Typical closing thoughts for what's been a crazy 2026 ICW. I have personally one more session to attend, but then for whatever I had to be facilitating, that's the end for this year. So thank you all. Thank you for all who joined in, who be looking at this virtually. Anything else that anyone would wants to add? We have 5 more minutes. You can jump in and share. Otherwise, we close earlier.
Let me ask you a
Nothing.
closing question. Uh,
Yes.
26 sections for
Mm-hmm.
this ICW, 11 a.m., 4 p.m., 7 p.m. Consistent for the past 1 week. What's your
8 days.
experience?
8 days. Let me correct you with that 8 days. So 8 days, 3 sessions each, so 24 in total. And then one more for Coach RF Foundation and one for Coach Easy. So technically 26 where I was on the spot. Uh, my experience is that I've loved every single conversation. And for me, the challenge this time was to, mostly last time also it was the same. But this time it is a more conscious effort to be fully present in the session and not make a presentation. So for me, that was the most fascinating part of this, that it was like one of the things that I shared in some of the marketing presentations is to say I want to keep it more present than presentations. So that is the reflective space in terms of this. And I wish there were more times I could have attended other sessions where I was not attending. So I wish next year I can realign some of these timings to also give the same experience and also get a deeper, richer experience myself in what others also have to share. So, and the ICW always leaves you inspired. I was inspired by a coach from Bangkok or Singapore attending an ICF Bahrain event, which meant for her it was 2 a.m. in the morning. And she was there in that session for me. And she may forget about it and she may not, does not know that I exist. But for me, she's left that space to say, wow, the kind of dedication people have, the kind of interest for learning and meeting people. And for me, it's 1 week that's just for this. So yeah, thank you for asking that question. I don't know, I went on my own tangent in terms of that, but it's deeply reflective, and you will listen to it in a LinkedIn post for tomorrow. So
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. And is there any vision for ICW 2027?
this looks like my manager asking me saying, "Oh, you had a fantastic 2026, but what are your goals for 27?" I think next time I really want to put some of the people who are part of the ICW, also part of the ones who will be hosting the sessions. I think that space has come by very organically to now invite people to use the tribe of coaches as a banner and promote some of you as a coach. Again, that will be a tough challenge to connect with 300 people that are there. But then this is a start that we can do to put you out there, to get more people get connected, so to build on that. So I think that's one vision I'm seeing. We will celebrate 3 years in existence as a tribe of coaches this August, so we'll have something there for that. And this time, and like every year, we will do our what is that? The conference, maybe in a slightly different format. Quite a lot of that is still pending in my head, and also a TOC newsletter is pending for quite some time. So quite a lot of new things can come by, but then I think I just want to just live in this moment and observe what this week has happened. It's been crazy learning the kind of people that I met, and now it's time to, sow those seeds and nurture those relationships for the next year. All right, so 1 minute to go. Otherwise, we're on time. If nothing else, then we close.
Thank you so much,
Um,
Sunil, for sharing that. It was a really insightful sessions for the past couple 8 days,
Oh,
and
yes.
really enjoyed this ICW 2026, especially with being part of Tribe of Coaches.
Yes, Govind, I think you get the award for being the one with the most attendance. So that definitely is the case. And by the way, before I forget, uh, it's possible for you to still be a part of something interesting. The links to the aspect of getting a pro bono mentoring session from my end is still open. You can still register, and after ICW, we can connect to that, which is say maybe after Tuesday and not tomorrow. Tomorrow, I just want to switch off. After Tuesday, you can get in, or also you can get coached by me. But then it's a pay as you like format, so there's no segment to say this is what you need to pay. As long as we have PayPal access or anything as such that qualifies as payment or barter, I'm good. So I need to get to another 1,000 hours of my MCC, and I want to do it in some pace, quicken the pace and do it. So those two are still open. Those are session 25 and session 26. So that's still open if anyone wants to do that, do get in touch. All right. That's that then. Thanks for your warmth, affection, patience, and deep listening.
Thank you.
thanks, Sunil. Thanks, everyone. Yeah.
Right, most
Thank you,
welcome. See you
Sunil.
then. Have a wonderful weekend and see you when we see you. Thank you. Bye.